Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a GravelyZTX 52 zero-turn lawnmower with the Kohler 7000 series engine on it. The motor and everything works fine on it, but they noticed when they parked it last time they mowed, it was starting to drip oil out of the back. And they brought it over here a couple days ago. I'll show you here what I noticed under it. That's all hydro fluid out of one of the hydros. So that's why I'm not starting it up to bring it in the garage. I gotta push it in the garage because you never want to run a hydro that's low in oil or out of oil. So we're gonna push it in the garage, see what side's leaking, and see if we can fix it. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Okay, as you can see, it's the right side that's leaking. There's a puddle on the ground over here. Take that tire off over there so we get a better look at it. Okay, the nuts on these wheel bolts are 13/16. And I see where it's leaking. It's the seal around the shaft for the hydro brake gear. It looks like that's where it's leaking. See where this gear is and that shaft right there? That's where it's leaking. Grab a cup here to put all our parts in. You just have to keep it on tight. Take that nut off first. You get that. And that looks like a 1/2 inch. Well, there's about a 1/2 inch of threads there. So we'll remember that when we put it back on. Gotta remember we put it back together again. Threads are about a 1/2 inch. I'll just put this all right back together again right here, so we know how it goes. And we gotta pop this C-clip off that gear. Use a little flat screwdriver for that. And this gear will pop right off. And you can see the seal. There it is. That's what was leaking. I'm just going to set this back on here so we don't get junk in there. And I'm going to call the Gravely dealer. I believe it's Aaron's and Gravely. I believe it's the same thing. I'm going to go do some checking and see if we can come up with some part for that. So, okay, I called the dealer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's about 110 miles from here or whatever. And they do have, you have to buy a whole seal kit, I guess. But they called me back a little bit later, and one of the mechanics in the back recently I guess he put the axle seal in, so they have an extra brake shaft seal. So I'm gonna run it. First, we gotta take this hydro out, because the only way to put oil back in there, you have to have the hydro out. So we're gonna pop the hydro out and everything. Then I'm gonna go run up there and get the parts. I'm gonna get the seal kit, then plus that one seal, and if everything else looks good, nothing else is leaking, I'm just gonna put this seal in here. And for the first time zero-turn buyers or first-time home buyers that are thinking about buying a zero-turn, get a zero-turn with the hydros that have filters on them. This particular one here don't have filters on them. There's screens built inside. But for a little extra money, get a zero-turn that has filters on it, because them hydros will last a lot longer, because you can change the hydro filters on them, and they last a lot longer because once some screens inside get all full and clogged up, then you're pretty much done. So I unhooked a hydro relief rod. That's what I just did now. Then for the turning here, we gotta unhook this rod right here. Apologize if I get in the way. And this one here has a washer on it we have to pop off. There we go. Now we gotta take the tension off the belt. So we have to take the belt off. Then we'll take all the bolts out. So let me get a pry bar so we can take the tension off that belt. And they said on these particular hydros, like they have some on the Aaron's and some on the Gravely's like this here. What knocks these seals out is when you're going down and you're still rolling a little bit, and when you pull the handles out, that acts like the brake. These shafts go back and forth, and that's what works these seals out. So you got to make sure you're at a complete stop before you pull your handles out for the brakes, if that makes sense. Okay. The belt's off. I'm just going to keep that locked into place. So we'll take this bar off here. That connects the two hydros together. And these are 9/16. Okay, then let's see here. We got a bolt up here, and these look like they're 1/2 inch. Okay, well, we got one loose for now. So we take these other ones off. If they don't fall on the ground. And it looks like we gotta take this bolt off here. There we go. Almost got her. I'm gonna put a nut back on this axle bolt here. Just don't want this thing to fall. Alright. And there we go. Alright, let's go take it over to the bench. Okay, I just got back from Sioux Falls with the parts. And here's the kit for this. Then they sent me that one seal. I checked everything over, nothing else is leaking besides that, and they explained to me why that one goes. So I have to tell the customer to don't pull the handles out until it's all the way stopped. Let's go ahead and take that old seal out. Grab a paper towel here. Alright, you gotta make sure it's nice and clean all the way around this. I don't want to get no dirt in here. And see what I mean? There's no oil filter on this one. If you get a zero turn, make sure there's a screw-on filter that goes on these hydros. They last a lot longer. And you gotta make sure it's nice and clean. Nice and clean in there. Okay, so here's our new seal. I'm just gonna put just a very light coat of Loctite on here. Just on this outside edge. Really light coat. Push it in there all the way. This is what I like to do on stuff like this. He might not agree with me, but like I said before, I hate things coming back. So just take a little chisel and just gently and what this does, it just pushes that, it tightens that, makes like a little lip there so it's harder for that seal to pop out. And there we go. Now we got to put fluid in there. Got a funnel. You make good sure your funnel's nice. You don't want to put any debris. And as I got this transmission about as level as I can get it. Okay, here's a hydro fluid for this. I got 2 quarts. This is a long process. You can't just pour it in there and seal the cap and go. You gotta make sure all the air bubbles are out of it, out of the system. So we're just gonna slowly add fluid. And this is gonna take a while. So I'm just gonna show you what I'm doing. It's just slowly going down. So we pour it in there, like little air bubbles that are in the oil. When it gets inside the hydro, see the back end's up just a little bit higher than the front end. That way the bubbles can work themselves up. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon. I probably won't put this even in until like after supper tonight. So to make sure all the air bubbles are out of there. So during the afternoon, I'm just gonna keep on doing this till it's full. So we'll come back when this is done and we'll put it back on the unit. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put the hydro back in now. I let it sit overnight. I want to make sure all the air bubbles got out of the oil. It's gonna be kind of tricky first getting this in. I'm gonna try getting one bolt in and get a nut put on it. So if I'm in the way of the camera for a little bit, I apologize for that. There, we got a couple started now. Yeah, we'll tighten a few of these up here. Now, I'm not tightening them all the way. I'm just getting it closer to get lined up because we got to make sure everything's in place. I'm going to put our washer on. There, that's all hooked up. Now I got to put that one bracket in there. Gotta loosen this up a little bit and slide it back so this rod goes into that little groove right there. There we go. That's what we want right there. Okay, let's finish tightening up all these bolts for the hydro so we can finish getting everything lined up. Alright, let's make sure everything's lining up. Now I'm going to get this bolt across here tight. Okay, now that hydro relief rod, or clip on that. There we go. Now for the brake gear. Okay, on this here, we gotta put this on and we have to screw this down so there's like a 1/2 inch of threads. Maybe just a little bit more. Looks like that's about right. Okay, now that bar that goes across the bottom. Alright. Now we just got to put the belt back on. But before I do that, I see on this side over here, on this hydro relief valve, the clip's missing on this one. I might have to take the tire off to get to it. But I'll come back to that in a little bit. Let's get this belt put on. There we go. Now let's take the tension off. And there we go. I'll just double check everything here. Bolt in the back tight, these two tight, the one in the front tight, this tight. And we'll get all our linkages hooked up. And everything's adjusted. Alright, I guess we'll put that tire in. I gotta take the tire off on the other side and put that clip on, but okay, let's get this lower down and try her out. Well, it seems to work great. Anyways, I hope this video helps you out. I really appreciate you watching. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. Anyway, guys, have a good afternoon.